Hello and welcome to the Daily Brown Bag. Today we're going to be talking about SEO keyword research. I'm Chad Hill and I'm joined by Adam Stetzer.
Yeah, good morning, Chad. Welcome to the Brown Bag. This topic of keyword research, when you're talking about search engine optimization, is really important, and probably nowhere is it more important, Chad, than for our white label SEO community, because our SEO resellers out there carrying our products and selling search engine optimization are in a sometimes awkward position of setting expectations with clients who really don't understand how SEO works, and that's where doing good SEO keyword research is going to come in. These keywords that you pick for your website and the content are really going to be the foundation for everything a company does online. And when you're consulting with a small business and talking to them about being found online, this is really, really important. These keywords are going to determine how people find you. They're going to dictate how the search engines categorize the small business website, and ultimately then how the end users using the search engine are going to find that small business. And in the end, you're going to help the client build an SEO strategy and a paid search campaign around these keywords. So you can see it's sort of the foundation of everything that an SEO reseller should be talking to a small business about when it comes to getting more customers online. Yet, Chad, we see this all the time. SEO keyword research is often overlooked, and we talk about it in our white label SEO webinars and in our 4 o'clock Q&A session. Putting time into solid keyword research as you're kicking off that search engine optimization campaign is really critical for all the tactics that follow. So I think we want to talk a little bit about how our SEO resellers can do excellent research here. What should they be doing?
Good question, Adam. And I think I really break this into a couple different categories. The first one is discovery, and really in the discovery phase, you're just trying to understand what keywords are out there that people are using. And one of the things that we most commonly see when people are starting to do initial keyword research is that they don't really think about the intent that someone has when they're searching. So it's very easy for someone to find a keyword that has a lot of search volume and say, that's my keyword, but they don't actually kind of flip the telescope around and say, who's on the other end of that search, and is that really my prospective customer? So again, in the discovery phase, there's a couple different places that we recommend that you go. One is Google's keyword tool. It's a great resource, and you can generate lots of ideas there. The other one that we often now especially is we say, go look at your webmaster tools, because sometimes Google is actually already finding things on your website. You may be ranked on page 2 or 3, so a lot of times if you look at that, that's another great resource of a place to find potential keywords that Google's already said your website's relevant for, but maybe not ranking on the first page where all of the clicks are coming from. The third one that I always like to look at is if you are doing any kind of analytics, or I'm sorry, if you're doing any kind of advertising, AdWords advertising, it's another great resource to see, where are you getting clicks, where are you getting conversions, and then the final source is to use a tool like our Web Grader, or there's other ones out there where you can actually plug in some competitors, and there are third-party services that actually can figure out what keywords those competitors are ranking on. So if you put all that together, that's going to give you a good basis for the keywords that you might want to have your website rank on. And then now really comes the tricky part, Adam, because you've got to figure out, one, which of those keywords is their intent to have someone actually buy your product, because you don't want to try to optimize your website for a keyword that's not relevant or not going to really get you business. And then the second thing is to try to figure out which of those keywords are actually within your budget. So sometimes people come to us and say, I need to rank on these keywords, and we can look at that and say, well, there's a certain level of effort that's going to be required in order to knock the guys who are already on the first page and the second page out of those spots, and so we need to put this much effort into it. So sometimes people come to us and say, sky's the limit, I just need to rank on these keywords. But oftentimes what happens is people come to say, look, I probably have about this much money a month that I can invest in SEO, and then this is really where the tricky thing comes down, Adam, as you said, is setting the expectations, because what you want to do is you want to pick keywords that are going to actually, if you get the rankings, when you get the rankings, that are actually going to bring business to that website, but aren't so difficult that with the budget they've been provided that you'll never be able to hit those rankings. So there's a balancing act there. I think a lot of different people have different ways of approaching it. What we try to do is use things like the monthly search volume and the estimated cost per click to determine how competitive that keyword might be in order to help figure out and right size your keywords that you're going after into your budget. So there's definitely a really tricky part there, and again, people always want to come and pick the big keywords, but picking the big keywords can look really good when you're signing up the project, but 6 months from now, if you pick a big keyword that you never rank on, you're not going to keep that customer over the long run. So you want to be smart at picking the right keywords for the budget. Sometimes that means that you want to look at long tail keywords, and you might want to pick some fairly aggressive keywords, but then also try to pick some longer tail keywords. And I think, Adam, you've used a term that's sort of like your canary in the coal mine. You want that to be the keyword. You want to be able to have a test that you can see and show that your program is effective, and so over time, you're earning trust with the client. So again, you want to do that initial discovery. You want to then apply the filters to pick the keywords that are right for their budget, that are not too competitive, and I think that's really the most successful way to really approach picking the right keywords for your campaign.
Excellent, Chad. Well, really a lot in this topic, as we just covered. I mean, our take-home point is that SEO keyword research is a really important activity. It's the foundation of your campaign for all the things that Chad just reviewed, and I agree with all of them. And it has ties into setting expectations, client management, longevity. Again, I know our SEO resellers are always dying to close the deal. They're very revenue focused. They're focused on sales. That's awesome. So, but the downside is there can be a tendency to rush through this phase. And for all the reasons Chad just covered, we would advocate don't do that. Set your campaign up for success with careful analysis up front. Yes, it's more complicated than you want it to be. You want to just say, well, I'm selling a 5 keyword package. Here you go. Pick your 5. And we hear it all the time. That's so much easier to sell. People understand that, and we get that. But there's a balance here, because you also don't want to be in a position where you're losing your customers every 90 days because of poor expectations. And it comes down to setting these expectations around keywords. Well, that's our brown bag for today. An excellent topic, one that probably, Chad, we could talk about for a few hours. But just a taste test of that on SEO keyword research. We really appreciate you joining us, and we hope you'll subscribe so we can see you back for another video real soon.